Have you ever wondered how we're going to feed, I don't know, like a billion more people in the next, 30 years?
With the resources we have now, yeah, it's a big question.
It's a huge question, and it's one we're tackling in today's deep dive.
We're jumping headfirst into high-tech farming with this company, Farmonaut.
Farm to table. No way, this is like space to table.
They're using satellites, right, to change how we grow food, potentially. It could be huge for farmers all over.
And the best part, we've got all the insider info straight from their website.
We're going to break it all down.
Yeah.
How it works, why it matters.
The future of food, maybe?
Let's dive in.
So to start us off, can you give us a quick overview of what this Farmonaut thing is all about?
It's all about making farming like way smarter, way more efficient. Imagine you're a farmer and you can see your entire farm, but like from space, you know? And I mean real-time insights, what's going on with all your crops.
Okay, that's kind of blowing my mind, but how does it actually work?
Satellites. High-resolution satellite imagery is how they monitor everything.
So they're really up there, like taking pictures of farms from orbit.
Yeah, but these aren't just your average pictures, you know? The detail is crazy. They can track how healthy the crops are, the moisture in the soil, even things like weather patterns. Oh, and pest outbreaks. They can see those coming too.
Wow, that's a lot of information.
It is, it is. But here's the thing. Farmonaut, they don't just dump all this data on farmers. They take all that complex stuff and make it simple, actionable insights through their platform.
Okay, so they make it user-friendly, something a farmer can actually use.
Exactly. Think about it. You're a farmer. You've got acres and acres of crops. In the old days, you'd have to walk the whole thing to see if there were problems.
That would take, forever?
Yeah.
You could still miss things.
Totally. Now with this Farmonaut thing, you just log in, see a map of your field, everything highlighted. It's wild.
It's got to be super useful, especially for, bigger farms. But what about the crops themselves? Can they really tell how well, different types of crops are growing all the way from space?
Absolutely. Take India, for example. They've got these crops, right, called rabi crops. Staples, wheat, mustard, chickpeas, all that good stuff. Planted in winter, harvested in spring.
Okay, so important crops for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where does Farmonaut come in?
They've designed this tech, right, to actually tell the difference between all these crops, even as they grow, all with those satellite pictures. It's not just a big green blur from space. You can actually see, this is a wheat field, this is chickpeas, and you can see them changing through the whole season.
So a farmer in India, they could log in and be like, oh yeah, there's my wheat, it's doing this, and the barley's over there doing that.
Exactly. And it's changing everything, but it gets even cooler when we start talking about weather.
It's make or break for a farmer, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Good weather, good harvest. Bad weather could be a disaster, especially if something extreme happens.
And you're talking those rabi crops.
Exactly. Think about it. Cyclones, right? They can wipe out a whole season. Everything a farmer's worked for, just gone.
It's what can they even do? How does Farmonaut help with that?
So they're using the same data as, weather experts, the Indian National Satellite System, all that.
Right, but that doesn't sound very helpful for someone out in the field.
That's the thing. Farmonaut takes all that and turns it into, real-time tracking. They can predict where the cyclone's going to go.
So instead of just hey, there's a cyclone somewhere out there, you can actually see, oh, it's headed right for my farm.
Yep. And they even give you advice, right? Customized recommendations, cyclones coming, maybe harvest early, or reinforce things, protect the crops as best you can.
That's incredible. It's the difference between just hoping for the best and actually having some control.
Totally. It's all about having the right information at the right time. These farmers, they're putting food on the table. It's their livelihood.
It's more than just making money. It's their whole life. So crop monitoring, weather alerts.
Yeah.
What else can Farmonaut do?
Okay, so mapping. Say you need a really precise map of your fields, right? The old way. You'd be out there walking for days, measuring everything by hand.
That sounds super accurate.
Not really, and it takes forever, but Farmonaut. Minutes. Their satellites and their AI can map everything out, your boundaries, what kind of soil you've got, even if there are spots with bad irrigation.
Wait, so no more yeah, that looks about right. It's all done for you.
Precisely. And that means farmers can, focus on other stuff. And speaking of focusing, remember how we were talking about crop stress?
Yeah, when a plant's not doing so good.
Yeah. Well, this technology, it can actually see that stress before you can with just your eyes.
Come on. From space, they can tell if a plant is having a bad day.
For real. The leaves change color a tiny bit. Maybe the temperature's off. Their AI picks up on all that.
Okay, that's wild. But do they just, send the farmer a text message? Hey, your plants are stressed. Good luck with that.
Haha. No, they actually give advice. They'll tell the farmer, like, maybe you need to change how you're watering or add some fertilizer, or even like, hey, go check for bugs over in this area.
It's like having a 247 plant doctor on call. This is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
How does it actually work for the farmer, though?
They make it easy. Different subscriptions for different farms. You can use the website or the app on your phone.
Wait, so even out in the field, you can be like, hold on, Farminot, what's going on here?
Exactly. And it's not just about problems either. It can help you plan too, when to plant your next crop, all that, based on like weather history, soil stuff, even what people are buying at the market.
No more guessing games. So this is all great for individual farmers, right? But are there other options out there? Like, what about those drones or those sensors you hear about?
Good question. Let's break it down.
All right, so it's like drones versus satellites. Who wins?
Well, think about it this way. How much can a drone actually see, right?
They've got, like, limited range, right? Batteries die.
Exactly. Satellites, they're seeing the whole planet. Farmonaut, they can work with any size farm anywhere. Big, small, doesn't matter.
So scale-wise, satellites win.
Yeah.
But I need info all the time,
Right.
not just once a year.
That's the other thing, right? Drones, someone's got to fly them, got to deal with bad weather, all that. Farmonaut, always working. Farmers get updates all the time, see what's changing day to day.
Sounds easier, that's for sure. But isn't all this satellite stuff, like, super expensive?
People think that, but honestly, it's not as bad as you'd think, especially compared to buying a drone, then all the upkeep, the repairs.
So for a lot of farmers, satellites are actually cheaper. Huh. But what about those drone pictures, though? Those are crazy detailed.
Oh, the technology's come a long way. Farmonaut's images are super high resolution, like you can see individual plants, even little changes in the dirt.
Okay, but pictures are one thing. What about actually understanding what they mean?
And that's the key, right? Drones, you need special software, someone who knows how to use it. Farmonaut, they made it for farmers. Their AI does the hard work, tells you what's important, what you need to do.
It's like having a whole team of scientists analyzing your farm,
Yeah,
but like all the time.
basically. And it's learning, getting smarter all the time.
So drones are out. What about those sensors everyone's talking about? Those seem pretty high tech.
Sensors are good, don't get me wrong, but they only tell you one thing, right? Whatever they're measuring. And you got to install them, keep them running. Farmonaut, they're looking at the whole picture. Weather, the soil, how the crops are doing, everything.
Big picture thinking.
Yep. And they can use info from other places too, weather stations, even your own sensors if you've got them. Gives you the full story.
This is pretty wild stuff.
Right.
Are farmers actually using this, or are they like, nah, I've been farming this way for 50 years?
It's new, right? People are always a little scared of new stuff, especially farmers. It's been around forever. But honestly, more and more farmers are realizing this tech is here to help.
It's not replacing their knowledge, it's just giving them more tools, right?
Exactly. And the younger generation, they're already used to all this tech stuff, so I think it's only going to get bigger from here. It's pretty exciting, honestly.
So we've talked about what it can do for, like, one farm. But what about the whole world?
That's the really cool part. We've got, what, 8 billion people on the planet? Climate change messing things up, this tech, Farmonaut, all this precision agriculture stuff. It could actually help us solve these problems.
Sounds like the next agricultural revolution.
And maybe it is. If we can use this data the right way, make farming smarter, less wasteful, then yeah, we can feed everyone, even with climate change and all that.
That's a pretty hopeful thought.
Definitely. And this is just the beginning. Who knows what we'll be able to do in 10, 20 years?
Yeah.
It's a good time to be paying attention to where our food comes from.
Absolutely. Every time we do one of these deep dives, it's like, yeah, the world's got problems, but people are out there finding solutions. It's pretty inspiring, honestly.
It is.
So, to everyone listening, keep asking questions, right? Stay curious. Maybe you'll be the one to come up with the next big idea that changes everything. Until next time, keep exploring.